Well, after a brief break, Superman&Lois returns with the Eradicator. And so Morgan Edge, or Val something, it's Morgan Edge, has now been transformed into the Eradicator. Yeah, they didn't give him the yellow shades from what the Eradicator looked like in the comic books, but they're kind of, I saw an article a while back, I think it was a Screen Rant or whatever, suggested, oh look, they're retelling the reign of the Superman story. That was the follow-up to the death of Superman, where they introduced characters like, Steel, most notably, so they've already got him in there with John Henry Irons. And then Eradicator, well, Morgan Edge is filling out that role, but there's no cyborg Superman, but I think the article suggested, oh, well, Eradicator is kind of a combination of the two. Yeah, I don't know. And then, of course, Jordan, he fulfills the Superboy role and all of that. So anyway, that's his new plan. So as the Eradicator, he can now apparently possess people with Kryptonian consciousness at will. And so he attacks Metropolis. Superman and the Steel go there to fight him off, and that's all. You get some amount of action that's pretty good. The rest of it is, well, you know, you got to deal with things. Sarah and her family are still like, well, they him and haw about leaving. They're selling the house, and then they think about staying, and then suddenly Daddy gets a job offer in another county that's about like 2 hours away, which really, it's not that far. But anyway, she and Jordan are, they're upset. No, long distance relationships don't work and all that sort of stuff. Of course, he can't quite tell her that when his superpowers develop, he could zip over there in no time flat. So it's like it won't be that big of a deal. But so other things develop. Meanwhile, Jonathan looks up to John Henry Irons, and so I guess he's seeing him as Uncle John, but John Henry Irons is just not in the mood and tells him to beat it. So he's hurt. But the girl that he liked but then thought she was just trying to use him, well, she tries to make amends, and it looks like they're going to hit it off. So there's that. So you're pretty much caught up on the high school soap opera elements. They go to a party they're not supposed to. There's drinking and whatnot. And as the attack is happening in Metropolis, Grandpa tries to contact them for their own good, and they don't respond. So it's troublesome. So he goes and picks them up, and he's going to take them to a secure location. And Morgan Edge, after the fight with Superman and Steel is over, he leaves, and Superman, Morgan Edge had freed his gal pal, and she was helping, and she almost kills Lois in very much the same way that alternate Earth evil Superman killed Lois. So they're like, oh no, it's going to be repeated and all that. But this time Steel hits Morgan Edge's girlfriend in the face with his hammer. And she gets captured again. They got some kryptonite handcuffs, and that's it for her for a while. But Morgan Edge escapes, and Superman's like, where's he going? And she said, well, isn't it obvious? Yeah, it is. And you would think Superman would have figured that out, but he didn't. Of course, he's going after Jordan. So he attacks Grandpa, Sam Lane, and wrecks the vehicle and all that they're in. And General Lane tells Jonathan to grab the kryptonite pistol and fire, but Morgan Edge is too fast, so it doesn't work. And he kidnaps Jordan and takes him away, and Superman can't find him. And ultimately, what was the plan? Well, I don't know why he didn't bother with that in the first place, but I guess the attack on Metropolis was just the distraction, And so he possesses Jordan with, I was going to say Zod. This time it's his father. So he projected his father's consciousness into the body of Jordan. So they're going to have to save Jordan from the evil spirit of Morgan Edge's daddy. So they're going to need an exorcist. They should call, I don't know, Dr. Fate or somebody. come deal with that. And that's kind of the cliffhanger ending. The rest of it is, well, some of it, they only have so much time within the season. I mean, the event with the Kryptonians and everything happened, and the military's still there, the DOD. So now the town's all upset and they want them to leave. And it's like, well, would it go that fast, you know? After a while, I can understand they're upset and they're saying, hey, you're keeping secrets from us. And of course they are. Because, well, you're going to find out that Clark Kent's Superman and all that. But it's already, the town wants them out and everything. And it's rushed because of the amount of time they have. They can't. I guess they could have said it jumped a while, ahead or what have you. But, and then Morgan Edge took that long to sit out there in the sun to get the power he needed. Well, it took him a couple of months to do that. So, I guess not. So there's, scenes like that, and some of that stuff comes across as forced, so it doesn't quite work. So it was a bit of a weak episode somewhat. But, well, it puts them where they gotta be, I guess. And so that's pretty much it. So I guess the Screen Rant article had a point that these characters are there, but I don't see it completely connecting. I mean, obviously Eradicator came out of that, and they kept going back to him in the comics here and there. Even had his own title for a while, but I think he's clearly back to being a villain for the most part. But, or whatever, I mean, for all intents and purposes, the DC comic storyline is over, which is all very sad. Whatever becomes of it. I know the recent article, everything's fine. No, it isn't. Don't have that many layoffs, and no. I think ultimately it's going to have to get farmed out to some other entity that could pick it up. But anyway, that's another story. The show is doing fairly good. This was one of the weaker ones, I think, and probably these breaks probably kind of hurt it. It's not as long as the last one, but hopefully the season finale will have the payoff good enough for it, and probably move on to what they do next time. And who knows? It would be interesting. I mean, they haven't introduced anybody to fill that role, I don't think. But it would be interesting if they did have a Hank Henshaw type character who's one of the people who had the consciousness in him, and his whole family gets wiped out. And so he becomes this, his consciousness into a computer system becomes Cyborg Superman. So, and then you could just have Tyler Hoechlin play both roles, So you could do that. Of course, you could have Tyler Hoechlin play a Bizarro Superman at some point. That would be cool. So it's still a solid show. So there, and like I said, there's this. It's a matter of circumstance. Some of the weaknesses are where you have to rush and force plot points for it as it goes, because it's only so much time to fit all that in. And I guess hopefully, because when they do these story arcs, it's better to resolve it. And I'm not a fan of the details of this one. Because I don't like the idea of Morgan Edge being a Kryptonian, and that another Kryptonian who came to Earth and all that type of stuff is getting too far away from the core Superman story. And I would have rathered he would have the Kryptonian possession type thing they could do, but I thought it would have been better if he had just been possessed by Zod himself, and then go forward with that. And that, Morgan Edge just stuck his nose where it didn't belong, and this is the price he paid, that kind of thing. But, and also the original storyline where he had connections with Darkseid and stuff like that. But I don't know, they probably are not allowed to deal with new gods and stuff just yet, depending on what they want to do with that, if anything. So, but, yeah, look, I think next week's episode will be the final one. I thought it was over because, when Superman had the big battle with the Kryptonians and he won, that was a good episode to end on. And maybe they should have, I don't know. But so I don't think there's enough time in here to just drag it all down and ruin it. With what. So far so good. It's managed to get through this season, I think, pretty much intact and fairly solid. And for the most part, remains the best superhero show on television, because there really aren't that many anyway that are worth your time, and doesn't seem to be affected by the current era, which is strange thing to behold, so that even weak episodes like this seem pretty good. So anyway, there we go. Superman, the Eradicator story, show, what have you. You know. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.